Please welcome
the Simone Feiler podcast. Subscribe to the channel.
A warm welcome to everyone in the audience.
Like and share the videos to help indie authors get their story out to the people who need to hear them. And welcome to the Simone Feiler podcast.
Welcome.
Giving authors a platform.
G'day there, Simone Feiler. Today I'm joined by Dr. Saibal Guha, author of In Search of Eudaimonia and Astra per Umbras. It's a deeply personal memoir. It follows his remarkable journey from India to Australia. Incredible, exploring resilience, purpose, healing and the search for a meaningful life, I guess. And the meaning of life, I guess. I'm looking forward to having a chat with you today, Sai. Thank you so much for popping in for the podcast.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. It has been a very, very interesting journey. And for you to support me through this journey for the first audiobook section was amazing. I thought it would be more complex and challenging, but there was no glitch in it. It was very smooth, and I'm really grateful to you, Simone.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. So, well, you first contacted me and we discussed whether you should narrate it or whether you should get a narrator to do it, and we kind of went a little bit halves. So you do feature on the book. How did you find that recording in the studio?
That was amazing because I thought it would be complex, and for me to even narrate part of my book, it was like talking to me, telling me what the book content is. And plus the fact that you actually encouraged me to do it was very, very energizing and encouraging.
Yeah.
On my own, I wouldn't have done that. I've done some kind of dramas in my life before, actings and everything,
Right.
but this was completely different. But that process was very smooth and very enjoying.
Awesome.
And I enjoyed every little sentence, every word and everything that I uttered on that day that was
That was so good. I couldn't believe how well you did that. There was like minimal mistakes. I'm thinking you practiced that, didn't you, over and over and over?
in my own Indian English way, of course, which I believe that the way I pronounce things are a bit different. But look, it is what it is.
Exactly. But I mean, you're very understandable. So, I mean, you've got a bit of an accent, but that's, just part of your journey, really.
That's part
you
of
come
the
from
journey.
India. But yeah, I think a lot of listeners really like the authenticity of listening to the author, so I think it's important that you included some of your sections in there. And then we engaged the fabulous John Eastman to record the rest of it. And I couldn't believe how close to your tone that John actually has.
And John, I think when I first heard his voice, when you sent me a few samples, and I know the ethos of the book. I know what I wanted the book to is depict on if people hear it or read it to understand where it comes from. It is a very soul-searching journey for me, and John's voice was just an authentic. It was like my soul talking to me, and I can't. My voice doesn't always reflect the soul in it, but John's did. So I'm grateful to John, and this man has got something in his voice that is magical.
Oh, I agree. And I also have to let you know that he has raved about your book. Oh. He absolutely adores it. He has so much respect for you. And
I'm blessed.
I'm very
blessed.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you.
said that you're an incredible man, and he was, very privileged to read it. So
that in itself, if I don't have any more readers or viewers or anything, that in itself makes me feel good that I did write something, which has been a little bit of an interesting journey in itself.
Well, congratulations, firstly, on the journey. And then on the release of your fabulous book. I've actually got a copy of it here, In Search of Eudaimonia. So I'm going to ask you, eudaimonia, it's not a word that's used in everyday language. So how did you come across it? And let's let the listeners know what it actually means.
True. Look, I when the genesis of the book is like this, in around 2020, when my father passed away, who has been a big rock to me and big support of my journey so far in various ways, because what he told me to do, I didn't do. I did something different, but he was proud of my journey and kept on supporting. And I've quoted my father quite extensively in the book. When he passed away, a patient of mine, when I was in a clinic, talking to her about psychotherapy, and she mentioned, like, you talk a lot and you talk about your father, you talk about certain things that your professors or people have said. Why don't you put that into a book? And I never thought that that could be a way to pay homage to people, to try to give some definitions and give a little bit of life into some of these big people in my life who has tried to be shadows, never came to the front. People knew me, but they didn't know what was in the making of me. So I started, I'll give this a go and write something. And for the first chapter was difficult, but then it flowed. It took me 3 years, but I got there eventually. Coming back to the title of the book, the word eudaimonia, I searched a little bit on what could be the definition of human health, happiness and flourishing. Where did this come into me? Did I reach a state of self-actualized version? And while researching, the internet, the Google, generated a few list of words. And this one, eudaimonia, caught my eyes because I heard that word before, didn't quite understand the meaning. I know that the hedonism or hedonia is all living with the pleasures in mind, and that's what the world is doing. And this was just a opposite to that. And Aristotle brought this word into the vocabulary, into our meaning, and the definition is living by your own principles, living by your own morals and values, and flourishing. So I thought that was appropriate because the state I have reached leading to writing this book is called a eudaimonic state, and I could not find any better word to write as a definition of this book.
Yeah, for sure. And what about then ad astra per umbra?
That in itself was added later on because it is from the shadows to the stars.
Yeah.
The shadows is where I started my whole journey. It was the industrial backdrop of Durgapur, a small industrial town in India. Not a lot of people will not know it. It's 150 kilometers from Kolkata, the state capital. And there my father was just a normal individual working in the power coal plants. And the coal soot was what the definition of my young childhood was, that seeing coal dust everywhere, father working hard, coming home, not having huge amount of money, not much resources, mom working hard to keep us going, 3 brothers. And that was the starting point. And a lot of things happened there during my childhood, which I believe are kind of a shadows that was trying to hold us back. A lot of people were held back. A lot of my friends possibly still stay around in those towns and never progress. But something inside me happened. And one of those things in the book I mentioned, that reach for the stars, is what my dad used to always say. And I couldn't understand what he meant by it. Yeah. But what he meant was dream big. Yeah. Because if you dream small and that dream comes true, then you have nowhere else to go.
Very true.
So expand yourself. And he used to say that if you aim for the stars, you will reach the top of a tree. But if you aim for the treetop, you will reach the first branch.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what was the whole idea of reaching for the stars, but the shadows, which is all in the book, actually talks about how that path was tortuous. That path had a lot of interruptions and roadblocks and sometimes glitches and ditches to traverse. And everything that I wanted to become, I became somebody else and something else. And where the script comes from, I do not know, but something magical was happening along this journey while a script was running. And I thought I was choosing the path of my destiny, scripted by me, but somebody was smiling in the backdrop.
Guiding you nicely along. Maybe the scenic route.
Maybe a very long scenic route to where I am today.
Yes.
And if somebody would have told me when I was young, say 7, 8 or 9 years old, I would have laughed on their face and I would say that's never going to happen because I'm not inclined to be. So I didn't want to be a doctor. I became a doctor. That in itself tells you that the script was not run by me at all. And reflecting on that in 2022, I was trying to say, what should I say in this book? I think that struck me that I'm a man whose life has been kind of determined or scripted by contradictions.
Yeah, you can hear that throughout the book somehow. Yeah. The book opens up with a devastating chapter of your early life in India and your neighbour, and obviously the young girl who is very close in your heart, basically. Yeah. Do you think things might have been different if that hadn't happened?
I often wonder about this, and in my first book, Dying for Life, I did explore that a lot, and that was more a fiction. I believe part of choosing psychiatry came from that incident and other incidents. I always wonder why I became a psychiatrist when I didn't want to do psychiatry. I thought mental health was an uncharted waters because you can't touch the mind, you can't see the mind, you can't measure the mind. It is somewhere in our being. So I'm trying to kind of work in that dimension where you can't take a pulse, you can't take blood pressure, you can't check the liver, you can check things, but mind you can't.
Yeah.
It's a perception sometimes. So I strongly believe that incident when my close friend Chumki and his family died, a very unnatural death, and it was a big storm at that point, not only in the state but all over India, because such a thing was never heard of.
Yeah.
The way things happened, and we were on the spotlight for months and months with newspapers, detectives, forensic unit, everything was lined up. And it was a terrible incident, and I still don't know what really happened. And that not knowing has created a little bit of inner subconscious storm, perhaps. And then there were range of other incidents. I strongly believe that was a shadow, and that shadow played in my mind and possibly egged me on to choose mental health, choose psychiatry, because I do not believe now where I'm at that no soul should be departing this planet without being heard, without being talked about, without being able to tell their stories in somewhere. And if they can't do it, some of us have to be the advocate, some of us have to tell the story. And that possibly pushed me even to write this book and document the hidden voice, the unheard voice of these people who always remained as shadows and never lived their full life to tell their story.
That's so kind of you to do that.
Thank you.
When you're talking about the shadow, I think a lot of people are talking about it now, like they're doing shadow work. Can you explain exactly what that is?
Shadow was more or less started, this whole concept was started by Carl Jung. Carl Jung in the 1950s, 60s started talking about the shadows, or he had other words which I've used a lot in reference to Carl Jung, the tremonos and the safe place, and the Negredo moment where you sink into the bottom and from that bottom you start rising.
Yeah.
It's like the bushfires. When the bushfires happen, some new vegetations come up, new flowers come up that is never to be seen.
Yeah.
It's like a reset. The shadows is what, when we sink into something that we feel drags us down into the deeper realms of not understanding where we are, who is me, who is I, who is the you, and what is the definition of the individual in itself when the whole world seems to be sinking around you. When you become part of a shadow, you're not sure that you have a dimensional view of your existence. So Carl Jung talked about that shadow and talked about that shadow being a formative aspect of an individual's progression to the future, because they can start looking from the shadows into the light. So the light shines only when you have encountered the shadows. Then the light sounds bright, it is nice, it's welcoming, it's comforting, and then you're looking for home, a secure base.
Yeah.
So shadow is where the secure base or concept of it starts forming. In some cases, otherwise shadows can take people into deep depression. I lost Chunky and her whole family because they got sucked into the shadows. They never saw or never thought that the light and the secure home or the belonging in this planet would ever come true. So that's why I use the word shadows, because there was time in my life in those areas between the ages of, say, 9, 10 till about when before I joined medicine. I think a lot of events have happened in the book which I thought was my shadow, from which I was trying to come out but did not know how.
Do you ever feel like you're in contact with your shadow nowadays?
I think that writing the book was the contact with my shadows, because each chapter I wrote, everything I wrote was that I see the reflection of the shadows in me. So I understand when a client sits in front of me and talks about their deep depression, even the word deep depression or I feel I don't want to exist anymore triggers internally a flashback of thought process and things that I went through in my life, where those shadows are there in a different script. My script is different from my client's or somebody else's, but the theme, the language is not too different. The emotions behind is not too different. So that's where the connection is there. So yes, on a regular basis, I encounter my shadows objectively. I'm not subjectively connected, so I don't feel the pain, the misery, or the emotional turbulence or tectonic plate shifting to feel those ripples. I feel I take it from a very objective point of view that it exists, and I exist along with it.
Awesome. So how did your family, your wife, deal with you writing, and how was the writing process?
The writing process was very quiet. I generally wake up early in the morning about 2:33 and start
I
writing.
do see that your emails come through at 3 o'clock. I'm thinking, does he sleep?
Yeah, no, look, I feel my mind quietens down and creative things happen. Otherwise, the tsunami of day-to-day activities takes over, and I live for others. I work on a clinic. I try to do a lot of things where you look after a lot of people, so you don't have time to think about me and my needs. So that's the time I think about what I want to do, where I want to be, and what is coming out as a script. Otherwise, if you don't have the quietness in mind, and if you have to doing a lot of paying bills and responding to emails and writing letters and reports and other stuff, you don't have time to delve into questions that you need to ask yourself, that internal narrative, and finding a proper way of manifesting that into written or typed words. I think that is why books like this, for me, being full-time in private practice, takes so much time. Because I'm an indie author. I'm not a writer in any form or fashion.
I beg to differ.
I don't feel I am, but I just want to put my thoughts and feelings into words, English not being my first language in itself. So, but I try to do my best. That's what you can do. You cannot do any more. So early morning is when I have started writing. Quite not known to my family. My wife was pretty surprised when I said, I've completed the book. Should I publish it or leave it? That kind of a moment is when she got involved. She knows I'd write, but whether to publish or not is something that she doesn't know. So it was a bit of a surprise for them.
Right.
My Indian family has come to know after I published that I have written a book.
Okay.
So it is a bit of a surprise for them, but they know that that's my hobby, and it is a hobby of me. That, as I said, I'm an indie author. I'm not expecting much from this book except to put my views and my journey of life across. Even if 5 people read it and get some inspiration from it, they have reached the stars with me.
Yeah, well, anyone that reads it will definitely be inspired. I mean, you've been through so much. You describe yourself as the reluctant doctor, you mentioned before. I don't know if I want to be a doctor. What made you reluctant from the start?
I did not...
All that studying.
I know, and one was that. And second is, I did not quite like biology. It was not my strong point. I like mathematics, physics, chemistry. My brother is a very senior engineer, very, very well established in life. He does steel plants and all, and he's got President's Medal for the best metallurgist in India.
Right.
So he was kind of a enigma for us, and I wanted to follow his footsteps, become an engineer. My dad, obviously, it's in the book, there was some soothsayer that said something different, and he hooked onto it. He wanted a doctor in the family. So he pushed me because he thought I was intelligent enough to even try and compete and get to medicine. But I didn't want to, so I tried to sabotage this journey. But unfortunately, as is in the book, you've read it and you know, there are some twists and turns that forced me to medicine. And then I wanted to escape medicine and joined Indian Navy because I thought, if I join Navy, I don't have to practice medicine because normally armed forces people are healthy and fit and fine. So I did everything in the Navy other than practicing medicine. But then I got married, and my ex-wife, being a doctor and was becoming an eye specialist, she pushed me to choose specialization. So I said, okay, if I do, I will be a radiologist or a pediatrician, not a psychiatrist. And I took psychiatry because of a person who I'm grateful to and is in the list of gratitude that I have shown. So these twists and turns always have happened. Like, I've never wanted to do private practice and was working in public all throughout my life, except something happened. And I'm in private practice right now. So it's a lot of contradictions and a lot of reluctancy to become the healer I've become. And that script, I don't think I've written it. It was written, and I just followed it without knowing that I was following it.
So try and go into a little bit more depth on that you didn't realise. Because I also think sometimes that all the things that I've done in my life have brought me to what I'm doing here, you know, like, and I would never have known that when I was a rebel at school and not listening to the teachers and, you know, more interested in the Australian charts, music speaking, that I somehow managed to get into radio. And now here I am with the best job ever.
Wow.
But yeah, you know, you just...
don't know.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
And that's what I see when you define destiny, when you see the word destiny. Some of us have different meanings to it. And I always think destiny is what we make out of it. I chart my own destiny. I was so wrong in that assumption. and my life story, and that's in the book, the eudaimonic state, was my destiny, but I did not know how to reach there. Whether I took a scenic route, an odd route, or this was the charted route. I didn't just know it. I sometimes felt that I was in a jungle with a lot of routes, a lot of pathways, and I've lost my GPS suddenly died on me. And I didn't know what my GPS, so I started walking. That's how I felt. And then one little spot opened up, another spot opened up, and then I started finding a way, and then it became my way. Then I met Marina.
Yeah.
She changed a lot of things. Then we formed Marseille Clinic as a concept called the Marseille method.
Yeah.
And that my way became our way. And this is the third way that I talk about in the book.
That's right.
And I think it was not the navigation unit that failed. It is not the jungle I got lost. It was all meant to be.
Yeah. So that's whether you have free will or whether it's all written, right?
That's correct. And I think the thing that struck me when I was writing the book is the karmic influence. That you have like in the Taoism, they talk about karmic debt. That what you do in your previous lives, how many lives you have had. If people who believe in it, that you're paying your debt in this life. So I believe for me to do something good, the healing part, maybe I was a reluctant healer or a wounded healer because of all the shadows I had to encounter. I still believe that the healing is my karmic debt being paid. And the karma in Hinduism talks about to work with good intention, not look at the outcome.
Yeah.
Because the good intention should lead to good outcome. If not, you will find a better intention to define a better outcome.
Very
so
true.
It is not about the outcome. It is not about what people get from you. It is about your intention to do your best. And then good things happen.
Exactly. It's actually looking into your heart and finding out what you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because that's
absolutely.
your gift.
Yeah.
And we all have a different gift.
That's correct. And finding that soul, the spirit and the heart,
That's right.
based on your principles and values and everything, that's a transgenerational script that came from my father, that came from my mother. They never went to a university, but what they gave me was possibly more than a Kohinoor diamond.
Yeah.
They gave me to me and made me realize that I can be much more than just the flesh and blood that they produced in this planet.
Oh, what a wonderful gift, right?
That is true.
I think all parents,
They do that.
And I think the more people like yourself who write these stories that allow you to explore what your, hidden gift is or what you truly love doing, your purpose, if you like, and release that to the world, that is going to help other people.
I only hope so. Even if it helps one person, I feel blessed. I will feel all these 3 years really was worth it.
Yeah, definitely. And so has your wife read the book?
She has parts of it. She's still going through it. One of my best friends who actually is in the book has read. He lives in New Jersey, and he was the first person to read and send me a big text message saying that now he can see me a bit differently. He can understand what I have done, why I come to Australia from India, and why I have created a clinic and what the clinic ethos is. So people possibly will understand me a little bit differently based on the book. If nothing else happens, at least I have a much composite definition of me through this book.
Definitely. Well, I guess a lot of people that you work with or interact with, they wouldn't know all these stories so deeply, so it's a good way to get to know you. Tell us a little bit, an insight of the story. I don't want to give it away, so I don't want to go too in-depth because it is an absolute fabulous read. It's an adventure. It's resilience, empowerment and destiny and exposing the shadow work to become your authentic self. But tell us about your journey from India to Australia.
That's obviously the whole ethos of the book. The book is divided into 2 chapters, the Indian chapter and the Australian chapter. And both are interesting read because when I came to Australia, I came for 2 years, wanted to go back after gaining some bit of understanding on the Western psychiatry. And don't go back and practice to India. But certain things happened that stopped me because I was meant to be. So I'm a citizen of 2 countries now. I'm born in India, served India for 44 years. And then my next chapter of the book has been, or in my life has been Australia. And I think Australia Australia as a home. I feel it is my secure base now.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely grateful for what this country has done for me and given to me. And I do not think I'll ever do anything to repay that gratitude that I feel for such a beautiful place. And India will always remain a very, very big spot in my life because it gave me the grit, the determination, the spirit and the soul that I carry. The eudaimonic self did not happen after I come to Australia. It shaped me.
That's right.
If I see me as a rough diamond of some nature or a beautiful stone, I think I was a bit rough in the edges when I was in India, and some jeweler in Australia shaped me into who I am. They polished it. So I will be grateful to both.
It was the sunshine.
Possibly, that's true. I needed that sunshine to flourish, isn't it? The tree was growing, but it was in the shadows.
Yeah.
Suddenly the shadows was lifted and the ray of sun, that made me who I am today. So what India is to me is the childhood was very interesting in that little industrial town with all those trouble and everything. Defining feature was my parents were not really educated that way. They were worldly wise, very good people, strong people. They thought that I needed a good education to survive this world, send us to a Catholic school, the only Catholic school at that point in Durgapur. And there, the influence of some of the people I've met, the teachers and some of our Catholic fathers who were running there, they were just enigmatic. They were role models that one could only dream of having in one's life. And I was blessed to be associated with them. Father Gilson initiated me into reading. He was the librarian as well as the English teacher and history teacher. And he definitely was a big part of me getting interested into arts, into reading, into writing. He encouraged every student to write stories and things like that. So my first story I wrote was in grade 3, which was obviously silly. It's like a fairy tale, but the encouragement we received from our teachers to do that was tremendous. I think the genesis of the writer in me started in school.
Yeah.
And that was great. And that I've said that in my book about that. Then obviously I wanted to be engineer, became a doctor, escaped to Navy. The naval uniform in itself.
Escaped medicine.
Yeah, escaped medicine.
Said the psychiatrist.
You know what? I believe I was always running away.
Yeah.
Running away from the true me, from the authentic self. Trying to find it somewhere else in an uniform or in a ship or in amongst the blue Arabian Sea.
Yeah.
But it was all inside me. I was trying to find me outside while I should use my reflective inner eye to look inside, because I was trying not to find my eudaimonia. I was finding some definitions as in given by me by others, like an uniform, a rank, or medicine as a doctor. But the doctor is not your definition.
No.
The human being inside is a definition, and that was where things are. Obviously, I had a complicated marriage, and that was a bit of a push for me to do something and start looking after who I am, what I meant to be. And that's where the Indian chapter finished, and I took a leap of faith to come to Australia. I wanted to go to UK. As I said, it's a contradiction. Where I want to go, I don't go there. I go somewhere else.
As soon as you mention where to go or what to do, it's
Something else
literally the opposite.
And exactly. And I thought that was my script. I was supposed to go to UK, go a couple of years and come back to India.
Yeah.
Came to Australia for 2 years in a contract. Then I liked Australia. They liked me, and it just evolved from there on. And I think psychiatry in Australia is much more powerful as a explorative science and a discipline. Then when I left India, it wasn't huge. It was more biological psychiatry with some psychodynamic issues that they were talking about. They were kind of I would say people's ideas on psychiatry and the stigma therein was profound. And I felt that it was not really taking the turn where a free will can be explored with your patient, that you can have a collaborative approach to psychiatry with holistic methods and everything. It was very biological driven, medicine and anything around structured CBT therapy, but there was no eclectic model of care that doctors were embracing. And it was, I used to call them 2-minute psychiatry. People used to come in and go, and there was no sit down and talk for a long period of time, not that I saw. It was very top-down psychiatry model, the collaboration, which is so important in psychiatry, trust and therapeutic alliance. That was more or less accepted as given not explored.
Right.
Which I believe my mentors and supervisor in Australia had a complete different grounding on that and encouraged me to just lift myself up to understand that psychiatry is a pathway, is not exactly just an exact science where you map the biological process and give medicines and it works. It's not as simple as that. It is not very linear.
No.
It is a complex matrix.
I'm just thinking of my own mind and my own self.
And you, Simone, will understand that,
Yeah.
that when the challenges come, when something happens, how does your mind react? And your mind will react in such unique ways that you cannot even see your brothers or sisters or your daughter will even think of reacting that way. So how are we so similar as human beings but so dissimilar in
so
how
true.
our mind comes? And where is the mind is another question, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
That
Yeah,
is where we can keep on unpacking that. But your original question was the journey from India. I think the finding myself was a journey from India. I don't think I found myself in India. I got caught up in the noise. I was not finding the signal.
Yeah. Well, you had different, the upbringing that you had and the influence of other people there, and also your young impressionable self.
That's correct. Hugely.
You only really, some people are very lucky that they get to have an insight into themselves at
That's
a younger age, but as you get older, you kind of think, oh, well, it's really up to me.
That became,
No.
Yeah, that's true. And then every time you change and look at yourself in the mirror and see something different, see an uniform saying, I'm a doctor, I'm a commander, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a role, I'm a director of a service. But you're still a very vulnerable human being trying to find yourself.
That's right.
That's the true definition.
Very true, very true. Yeah, it's definitely a journey, not a destination. And just when you think that you have found yourself,
you don't know.
Something
what
happens, right?
Yeah, and then you change.
Yeah.
And the change becomes you too at some stage. And all those changes becomes the layering of who you are. And the layering of you are becomes the final you. So I can't say that today I think I've written a book that has become definition. Tomorrow my whole life might change.
That's right.
I do not know. That is the script I do not know. But you know what? Before I used to be scared or anxious. A lot of people I've seen suffer from anxiety about the tomorrow. I'm so excited about tomorrow because every day I wake up in the morning and the Lord Almighty has given me, I wake up and say, oh, I'm breathing. Oh, wow, that's a blessing. That means I can live another day.
Yeah.
And that excites me.
That's so good.
What happens in the day is not important anymore. That I can live another day in this beautiful planet, in this beautiful country, meeting beautiful people, doing something like this even.
Yeah.
That excites me.
That's so good.
So it's not anxiety, it's excitement. And I embrace anxiety because I think the anxiety is like a rocket fuel. It is going to propel me forward, not become the biggest wall of China that I can't climb. So it depends on the perspective. And that's in the book too, that you change your perspective, your whole world opens up.
That's so
and you
true.
find a complete different way.
Yeah.
You connect through the eyes of your spirit, not through the eyes of your physical self anymore.
That's right. That's right. You're here as a reminder, aren't you? What is this?
This is kind of reminding.
This is literally the message that I need to hear.
This is
The
for
books
me.
always come to me at the right time.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
That's very nice.
It is an empowering and deeply sort of inward-looking as to letting go of everything that happens because it'll be okay.
Yeah, it will be okay at the end. And we are going through a circle of life. What comes goes. We never stay. But what impact we have on us and others is memories we create. The signature we leave behind is not the physicality of our presence. Signature we leave behind is our good karma.
Yeah.
The free will. That stays. That's like a smell in a room. You can't know the source, but it's just pleasant and beautiful. It's the lingering flavor of your spiritual presence in this planet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the human being, the person we are, people often, because of our ways things goes, the memories become faded. I think of my father, instead of seeing his photo or his physical self, I feel the presence inside me that talks to me about things that I've written in the book. that's what I intend to become for some of my people who have come in contact with me. I don't want to be remembered by the way I look or where I have been and what I have done, whether I was a psychiatrist or a commander in the Navy, nothing of that sort. I just want to be that presence.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That really is. And if other people can learn how to want to be that as well, that is a very important message.
And that takes the pressure away from us, the expectation away from us. How we look doesn't matter anymore.
No.
What matters is what I'm being to the other person, what kind of imprint I'm leaving behind becomes more important. And that sans any expectations.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you are who you are, so that's the imprint you will keep. So you don't have to be somebody else.
That's right. So, tell us then, then you got to Australia.
Then I came to Australia in 2004.
Yeah, and you were here for a couple of years.
Yes, 2.5 years in Whyalla. We didn't have a psychiatrist in Whyalla for a long time, so I was one of the first residential psychiatrists in a small town called Whyalla.
Yep.
And that from there, the journey started, had a lot of love and affection. A lot of things are in the book. People who changed my life over there. Yep. People who made me feel home.
Yeah.
And I cannot say that how much South Australia and those little parts and every individual over there, people whose name I've taken in initial form, not the full name because of privacy and confidentiality, how they made me who I am today. This second version of me, version 2.0, the Australian version, is because of the blessings of these people. Each one of them, I'm so grateful to them for helping me to make, and some of them encouraged me to stay on, saying that I might become the person I'm today by being here, not going back to India. So what they saw in me, I did not see in myself at that point. So there were some people with profound understanding and objective view of a person like me, and seeing that flourishing that they encouraged me to undergo. And Australia provided the perfect platform for that.
I've been down the self-help route and spiritual roads and a few various things, and I have read somewhere about, you make soul connections or soul contracts before you come down.
Which is true. I've heard that before.
Yeah,
maybe that's true.
And those people that you have interacted with, like I got some of that from your book with some of the stories you were telling, just thinking like it's sort of like divine intervention, if you like.
That is true. and throughout my writing, when I was remembering and all these chapters and little things, and I was saying, hang on, this person happened to my life and changed my perspective of psychiatry or for that dimension or friendship or relationship. It's like Marina walking into my life. I still remember clearly walking to Belmont. I was allocated a secretary. I walked into a room and she was standing there. And the connection we made was like magic. I felt, oh my God, I just belong here.
Wow.
And
I'm getting goosebumps. That's such an amazing that chapter.
Exactly, and that really was transforming for both of us, because we both have gone through our own issues and troubles, and was waiting for a new chapter. Both quite not believing that existed, that we can have another relationship or a marriage that will work.
Yep.
And it's just transformational. Yeah. I can't say
when you both least expected it.
Least expected. And there was no
that's never going to happen for me.
No. But
years later.
I've stopped saying the word never, Simone, because I don't think that exists anymore in my direction. I said, bring it on. Yeah.
Oh, so good. Obviously since then you guys have leapt and bounded.
Absolutely.
Marseille.
That started with a Chinese restaurant, and I've said that before, being renovated into a clinic for me and possibly a psychologist. And now we got 3 psychiatrists, we got psychologists, we got GP, we got our friends, the physios, and we have expanded. And even clients come and say, oh, you need to possibly expand. I said, no, the shopping center doesn't have any other space to expand. So our Marseille method has become very popular. I've been blessed with clients that comes from everywhere and enrich our life every day, stories I hear. Yeah. And if I'm a little bit impactful in their lives, I feel that this was worth it. Every bit of it, every day I'm breathing and talking is worth it. If I can be a little bit of an impact on somebody's life, a little catalyst in their journey to become the person they want to be.
Yeah, that's wonderful. When you're interacting with your clients, do you sometimes think that the information that they share with you is almost as valuable for you as what you're sharing with them?
100%. I learned from I say that in my book, that since I started practicing in private practice. And the journey with my clients, I feel that they have enriched me and my knowledge and wisdom way more than possibly I ever enriched them, because their stories are real life stories. Their improvement with my medications or treatment or therapy or what I said, any impact, the feedback they generated made me feel that I need to change my ways, I need to refine my dialogue, I need to do things differently. Even with pathway, even with process of referrals, people come and say, oh, if you do it like this, that might have helped you better. We bang changed it. So we do monkey surveys, we continuously take client feedbacks, because that has shaped my life. My psychiatric knowledge has not come from books. And I will openly say this, my teachers are the people who sit opposite to me and every day of my life.
Oh.
And it's never stopped. Even today,
That is
I learned
so
something
good.
for a 15-year-old boy who mentioned a few things. And I said, oh, okay, right, that's how your brain functions. So I should not throw my script. I should understand that in spite of the diagnosis I'm going to make, there is another variation to it that people go through when they have a different attitude to the life or different things they have done and had a impact. And it was amazing that a 15-year-old who's troubled and struggling had that ability to empower me to understand the next time I should be doing something different.
Well, I think that's incredible, and I think you're very fortunate to be able to read people like, or learn from people like that.
Absolutely.
And even more so, and I think even after your book, I think that you aren't your conventional type of learner or teacher where it comes from text. You were always reading people, even when you didn't think you were.
Absolutely. My professors used to mention that, and it never struck me when I did my psychiatry, saying, you will learn as much from your patients as much as the patient will learn from you. So keep it very bidirectional. Thank God I got some good teachers in my life and good mentors who actually was able to instill that fact that you're going in, I think Freud used that word tabula rasa, that means a blank slate. Go with a blank slate. Don't go thinking this patient has this diagnosis or that diagnosis, and let them throw the little dots and you just join them and then present it back to them if they want to say yes to it, or if not, modify it until you find the right hypothesis or plan or model, and then start your treatment. But at every turn, if the patient says, I'm not comfortable, change.
Yeah.
Be prepared to change. Let's not your ego or your wisdom say, I'm the psychiatrist here in this room. I'm telling you this medicine is supposed to work. If it is not working, you're not taking it. You have lost it all.
Yeah, exactly. They were walking and probably not
Correct.
getting any help at all from you.
so the collaboration is a two-way street, and psychiatry, unlike other specialties where maybe the specialties like cardiologist or a neurologist might know much better about certain manifestations and say this pertains to this part of the body systems, psychiatry doesn't work like that, because mind works in mysterious ways.
That's right. Yeah, and everyone's mind is completely different.
Correct. So the teacher is sitting in front of you. You don't have to go very far.
Yeah. Have you got something in mind that you hope readers take away from In Search of Eudaimonia?
I think what I want them to understand is the word eudaimonia in itself, and whether they are exploring that through their inner eye, through their third eye. That inner connection is, other than trying to find an outer connection through their life that they're living, things that they're acquiring, or the trouble they're going through, or relationships they are involved in. Don't look for answers there. The answers are within you. And don't define yourself through the problems you're encountering, because the problems come with their own embedded answers. The issue is who you are and what you become. The reference point is you. And that is what I wanted to firstly say, the eudaimonic state, or knowing yourself, knowing your own godliness, your own internal being, is your journey. Rest everything is the scaffolding that comes to support you through that journey. People you're involved with, people who come into your lives, and things that is happening, script that is running continuously in the background or foreground. That is one. And second is aim for the stars. The shadows do not define us. Shadows tell us where we are and what we are doing and how we can see the light in front of us. The North Star, or the true north, is there. Only thing is, if you're not aiming for it, if you're looking down, you will miss that star. So look up, look forward, and go beyond what you're destined to be, because your destiny is not in your hands, it's scripted.
Yeah.
So you looking to upwards to find that navigational unit that will take you forward without giving up on yourself, saying that, look, this trouble or this problem is where I'm stuck. You're not.
No.
If you look up, then the problem in front of you doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't define you at all.
Or not define you at
Yeah.
all. Very, very wisely said. Yeah.
Imagination, that's a theme throughout.
Yeah.
Using your imagination to aim high.
Aim high.
Yeah.
And that is in your brain. Nobody can stop you from imagining. Nobody, when I was in India, in a small room, looking at the squirrels playing and thinking what my life would be, because I have to go through medicine, whether I should get medicine or engineering, I always looked at the squirrel who never thought about anything. They were just going for the next little nut or root or whatever they were grabbing and taking them to their nest. They never thought that there will be a next day or whether they will find the next food. And that was inspirational. I thought, why can't I be like the squirrel? Think of the next little paragraph I need to read and understand, or the next little thing I have to do. So that is there. We're little cosmos inside us, inside every cell of us, everything. So think of you as part of the nature. If nature doesn't really bother about what it is doing, how hot it is, how the big sun is shining down on us, not apologizing for giving us heat at all.
No.
The rain coming when you don't have an umbrella.
Yeah.
And not apologizing because it's raining on us.
No.
Mucking up our hair, some of you who you have hair. I don't bother about that.
I've always got my umbrella.
Thank God. And I don't matter because my hair is never going to get ruffled. So that is good.
One less thing you have to worry.
That's correct. That's my destiny too. And there is a chapter on my baldness too in the book and what it did to me. I think it is important that we think that things that happen to us is neither defined by goodness, badness, toughness, this why me. It is the forging to get the mental resilience. I believe all the trouble that we go through in life is like forging you to become the steel, become the little sword, become the sharp instrument that will cut through your trouble in life. So for forging a steel, you have to put it through hot conditions.
Yeah, you got to bang it, don't you?
You have to bang
all
it
sorts
too.
of things.
Yes.
I've seen that, and melt it again, and then.
That's why it is. And so life is that. So instead of hating that part and getting depressed, why not we take that as the only way we become who we are.
So empowering just to know. It helps you weather all those storms that you go through, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Just because that's how you make a diamond.
You become who you are. Otherwise, I will be stuck in a small town in Durgapur thinking what my life could be if I didn't take a step away and say, look, doesn't matter. Don't give me a navigational unit. Just tell me that there is a path ahead and I need to find it. Make life a puzzle and every day a journey.
Oh, that's just, inspiring and, hopeful and, thank you. So what about In Search of Eudaimonia? You've done that now. Are you going to release it in Indian?
I have to really talk to my Indian friends. One of my friend is also an author and he actually helps me to release books in India. I'll have to go down and show him and what he
You could self-narrate it then. With
there. Yeah, I know, but that will be another time-consuming stuff.
Yeah.
I'll see how we go, and it's actually, even publishing in India will take time and a bit of energy there. I have to, because Indians want to buy. I said, look, get my ebook or audiobook. Forget about this book because getting through Amazon is difficult in India.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Don't start me on Amazon.
No, I know, and that is where it will be. But what I will do, I don't know about the Indian chapter. The other book, My Dying for Life, was published in India, and is available there. But the process was a bit complex.
Was that a well-received book, given that it was about that whole issue of the
and
family?
It was a psychological thriller. Look, it sold a few copies. I wouldn't say a huge lot.
Stephen King.
Yeah, haven't become Stephen King yet.
But you're aiming high, so that's always a good thing.
No, I'm just doing my things free will and karma.
Yeah.
And whatever happens. A lot of my friends have bought the book, and a lot of reviews, positive reviews have come in.
Awesome.
I'm very happy and proud of that book because I thought that Jhumki needed a voice and
Yeah.
needed to be heard. It took a fictional direction because in my head, I always, as a young child, thought something is wrong, something must have happened. It can't be a suicide, it will be a homicide. And that is where the book took a fictional turn.
Yeah.
But I put my imaginations into work, but I still believe something wrong happened there.
Yeah.
Something got missed, and the world did not quite understand
Yeah.
and reach out to these people.
That was,
That was-
very
that was sad.
confronting. I don't
Yeah.
know how you dealt. Well, you obviously dealt with it incredibly well to come to
That's
you are
true.
now.
I
but
internalized because we are not allowed to talk about it. It was traumatizing for everyone.
Yeah.
My mom was hallucinating at some stage. She was hearing their voices. So we had to move away. After 3 months, they allowed us to move away. Interestingly, that house could not be rented for 5 years. Nobody could come and stay. So it was a downstairs, upstairs.
Yeah.
They
intentionally that it couldn't be, or just that it was people did not want to go
felt
there.
our presence.
My skin is crawling off me because
Yeah.
literally in your writing in that first chapter, you could almost feel that presence.
Yeah, the Dying for Life book actually gives more details
Right.
on, and that details that I gave was the true reflection. Even the names of some of the characters, the detectives and the forensic guy, the man who came down from forensic medicine, he actually wrote a whole chapter about this in his book that became a textbook that we had to read when I was in
Right.
medicine.
Wow.
Including the pictures of Jhumki and the family. Later on, it was taken out, but
Oh,
his
my
second
goodness.
edition of his book, which was one of the textbooks of medical jurisprudence, had a chapter on that. So it was so
Wow.
profound
Yeah.
at that point in time. So in third year medicine, I opened the book and I see Jhumki again,
Oh my goodness.
but not the live Jhumki.
Yeah.
And his analysis of what really happened from a point of view of. So it was very confronting at that point. So it resurrected that. But I always knew deep inside.
Did it
at
give you
some
any
stage-
light reading that textbook?
He thought Jhumki was not participating in that because the family of 4 died together and her body movements was rebellious. She was more or less coerced to conform,
Yeah.
thinking that if the whole family went, where will she be? But as a friend, she never reached out to any of me. And when I launched this book, it was an Oxford bookstore in Calcutta, one of the premier 150-year-old bookstore developed by the British, run by Oxford University Press. So I launched my book over there, and 40 people came, and some of Jhumki's friends came, school friends, and they spoke and cried, and we had a minute of silence. All people who came there knew her and knew the family, and some of them told their stories and how the day that Jhumki died, she was in school in the morning.
Yeah.
Talked to their friends and said a few goodbyes. Nobody knew that would be the last time they would be seeing her.
Unlikely that she would have known either.
Unlikely she would have known either.
Yeah. Oh, it's heavy, and that's a lot for you to
Yeah.
to see it. You were very young. You were
I was
7
10
or
years
10.
old.
Yeah, you were. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a shock. It was
Yeah,
a shock to
yeah.
all of us, even a shock to my parents and all. Everybody was affected. My elder brother was a friend to her elder brother, and my brother took it differently, and he spoke about it.
Yeah.
And because in our family we were not allowed to speak anymore when we moved away, it was all stopped. My parents would not allow us to talk about it. So there was no
That's
counseling,
old school,
nothing.
though,
That's old
right? You're
school.
like, if you don't
That's
hear
right.
it, you don't see it, it's not there.
That's true. That's true. So down the track, obviously changes happen in your brain, and you think, what is life? Life means it's
Yeah.
just a matter of what quickly snubs it off. So I believe somewhere I started rebelling against this whole concept of life and destiny and career and courses. And I think my year 11 and 12 clearly defined that I was going rogue from my parents' dreams and wanted to change the script.
But not really, though, right? As it happens, you literally did exactly what they wanted.
But I thought I was doing something different.
Yeah.
Man proposes, but parents dispose.
that is just the beauty of In Search of Eudaimonia, because they wanted something for you and you didn't see exactly what they wanted for you, but you literally it oozed out of you the whole way.
Absolutely. And the question is, was I in the search? I didn't know I was in the search of eudaimonia. But all along, I was searching for something. I did not know the meaning of what I was searching. And I did not know the meaning until I started writing the book. Eudaimonia was not the central theme of my life.
No.
It is
Something.
a word that I was looking for and was there, hidden in the shadows or merged with the light of the stars. But it was not a definition in my mind until I Googled what it could be. That was the word.
Yeah.
And it just came over me. I just embraced it because it just defined the search.
Defined it for you, but I think a lot of people now that you're bringing it back into maybe the general, knowledge or the general public's knowledge, that people will like to look at what that word means and how to find themselves through
and I think it's a powerful
knowing that word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Otherwise, the word at large, as you see it now, is farthest away from that word.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we need to
Especially nowadays.
Especially nowadays. Yeah, we need to really
people in power really need to learn this word, don't you? Just saying.
It should be a prescription for some people in that area. But look,
in that area,
as I said, the book is not a prescription. It is not even a must-read thing. It is not going to be engaging in developing wisdom of any kind, but it is definitely a catalyst. It has been for me.
Yeah.
So given that I reached from a poor little boy from a small town in Durgapur to sitting in a Marsai clinic in the plush place called Brisbane, I think there is some things that has happened, and I think this can happen to anyone and much more.
Yeah. Well, thank you for writing it, firstly. It's a great read, and congratulations on your journey. I think I said that at the beginning. On your journey, your life's journey, and also your book, your second book. You're still going to continue practicing at Marseille and all of that at the moment?
Yes.
People can come and see you?
100%. And that's what the Marseille method is all about.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to deliver, I do GP lectures and other things just to share this thing that I may not be there forever, but at least what that imprint I talked about, the footprint that we created called the third way, the Marseille method, should live because it is time tested. Clients have provided good input about what that is. It's a collaborative method and it's worked for most of my clients. So why not it gets shared and that becomes part and ethos of a lot of other practices.
And it's unique to you guys, isn't it?
It is. I don't think there is many places that have the Maasai tribes kind of psychological endurance and resilience merged into Marseille concept. And so we have the shadows of a very primitive tribe, possibly our forefathers, whose blessings have percolated into this work, plus the Indian way and the Australian ethos, all merged into the soul and spirit called Marseille method.
What a wonderful method.
Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're a testimony to to how it can help other people.
That's true.
The way it's
I
helped
believe
you.
in it. I completely believe in it.
I think your definition of I'm a soul or I'm a spirit rather than I'm this person just walking around in this meat suit or whatever and things happen to me. You have to be able to see beyond that. It's like a message everybody needs to hear.
Oh, thank you. So, and that will define the wounded healer I've talked about.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
I strongly believe about the wounded healer part. And I think I still am a healer, but who has been wounded and who's come from the shadows to the stars.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing. Simone. Where can people contact you?
Saibal Guha Books has the books and audiobooks and ebook. And if people want to contact me, the best is to write in psychotalk@marsaiclinic.com.au. That's our contact, which goes to our practice, and then obviously we can connect up or answer any questions or anything that requires for the book or even the Marseille Clinic, Marseille method, or anything that I can do for individuals who might need a little bit of a wounded healer touch. Yeah,
perfect. So you've got your website and you're also on social media?
That's correct. Facebook, which is associated with Marseille Clinic, and also with saibalguhabooks.com.
Okay, awesome.
Both Facebook.
Yeah. The audiobook is also out now too, isn't it?
That's correct.
That's right. That was so quick.
That was very quick. And thank you, Simone, for that. that. And the audiobook has come so nice. I've heard a little bit of that. And I think one of my clients just bought it.
Awesome. I was going to actually ask you, have your clients listened to it?
When people come to buy the physical book, and I know that they have certain conditions where the audiobook might be better for them, so that they don't get to read something. Because sort of people buy books and don't read them.
Yeah, that's right. So
there's
no time for that.
No time for reading and carrying a physical book everywhere.
Yeah.
So the audiobook will be, I believe, the bestseller out of the 3 versions available on the internet.
Awesome, that's good to hear. Well, it's I've put my heart and soul into the editing and production of it.
Thank you.
And John did such a great job, but it all came from the writer, Dr. Saibal Guha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
The cover's amazing as well. Did you have some input in that?
I made it. That was my cover.
A man of many talents.
Thank you. But internet helped me a lot. It took some time, but I think I got finally what I wanted to depict.
It's really beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. That was very enlightening.
Thank you, Simone.
And all the best with it.
It's absolutely a pleasure, and we'll do that again.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it already.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Sai.
Thanks for listening to the Simone Feiler podcast.
Thanks so much.
Subscribe to the channel, giving authors a platform.
Thank you very much.
And make your audiobook dream a reality with Simone Feiler, the audiobook queen. Find out more at audiobookaustralia.com.
Well, thanking you kindly.